Hey guys, welcome. Today I'm going to be speaking about dating in 2026, and I'm going to go through 3 dot points which I think are very important for you to know. Number one, to be a standout guy in today's sexual marketplace, you have to be that guy. Now, when I say that guy, you need to have, number one is relationship with God. Number two, looks and health. Number three, focus, status, and wealth. So relationship with God is number one. Now, they may not be the thing that will get you the woman in today's dating market, but whether you get a woman or not, relationship with God is the number one thing you should focus on in your life. Number two, looks and health. If you are not investing in your looks, I know there's a big thing going on at the moment in the whole, looks maxing community, but there is a reason. Looks is very important, especially as a man. Now, you can combat that. You don't have to be the best looking guy if you've got wealth and status, but ultimately, you don't necessarily want a woman just to go for you for that. You do want a woman to go for you for who you are as a person. So looks is very important. So I'm suggesting you focus on, going to the gym, focus on getting healthy, and ultimately, you are what you eat. So instead of, eating crap, eating fast food, going to bed late at night, I want you to get a good routine, get a good structured, workout routine, get a good structured diet, make sure you're drinking enough water, making sure, you avoid drugs and alcohol, because when you are, walking into a setting, whether it be a bar or a nightclub or just, walking through the mall or in a coffee shop, the first 10 to 30 seconds, that's what you got in order to trigger a woman's interest. So it's very important that you focus on your looks and your health. And I've done this in order, by the way. A lot of people tend to put the status and wealth at the top. I think that is the third thing you should focus on. And I'll explain why. So relationship with God, like I said, number one, your looks and your health. Without your health, you don't have anything. So let's just imagine for a second, you had the status and wealth, but you didn't have a relationship with God, or you didn't have your health. What kind of life would you live? But status and wealth is very important, especially as a man, because as a man, you will be, assessed how well you can provide. So women will tend to look for a man that has provisionary abilities and that has resources. That's innately what a woman is seeking. Reason being is because they understand that when they do get pregnant and have children, they're not going to be able to go out into the workforce or provide for themselves. So they're betting on you as the man to acquire status and wealth. And status, naturally women back in ancient times, the tribe that was the conqueror, all right, so between tribes, they used to, wage war on each other. Whoever was the conquering tribe that did the conquering, the top, 5 guys out of that tribe, they would get the women. So it's just in women's DNA to naturally be drawn to a man that has status and wealth. See, what status and wealth is today, back in ancient times, it used to be the guy that was big, strong, knew how to wield a sword and could conquer. It's the same sort of thing, all right? So yeah, these three things here, you need to work on. I was going to say, exclamation mark. Women's perceived value of you. Now, this is very important. So have you ever been in a situation where you might get the number or Instagram from one woman, but then, you try to organize a date, she's playing hot and cold, she starts to, slow down on her replies, she might flake on you the first date. That there indicates that her perceived value of you is low. So she doesn't see you as high value enough to, take the time out to catch up with you. But then you might approach another woman, get her number, get her details, organize a date. Now this woman's different. She's excited. She might double text you. And what that means is her perceived value of you is high. So she thinks, the world of you, and she'll make it very easy for you guys to catch up. That's sort of the woman they're the women you kind of want, to have interactions with. Because it does get disheartening when you are trying to tee up a, date with a woman that doesn't perceive you as high value, and then you get, upset with yourself. You think there's something wrong with you. Well, there could be, as I say, if you're going out there, if in the last 6 months you're going out there, you're not getting any, eyes from girls, you're not, you might be approaching, you're getting shut down. If that's a constant thing, then maybe you need to do something about yourself. You need to work on these three things. But ultimately, women's perceived value of you will dictate how far you go with her. I, for one, I'm looking to, get married. I'm not looking to mess around or anything like that. So I want to make sure that I'm focusing on these three things. And when I do meet a woman, her perceived value of me is high. That way, you're not getting upset if they're not replying. And this what leads me to the third choice, choose a woman who chooses you. That again is very important. But just another quick message on this, because I was speaking with a friend before, and he was saying, you got to, match their energy, you got to pull back, you got to play hot and cold. And I sort of tend to disagree with that. I sort of said to him, it all really just boils down to their perceived value of you. Like if a woman's perceived value of you is really high, to be honest, guys, there's no magic line you need to say. You don't need to play hot and cold. You don't need to match anyone's energy. You only kind of need to do that stuff if you're trying to build attraction, if you're trying to get her to build attraction in you. That's when her perceived value of you is low, then you need to apply those principles. But if her perceived value of you is high, there's no magic formula. And I wouldn't say just, be you and act like a fool. But yeah, there's no magical line. You can kind of get away with saying kind of whatever you want if her perceived value of you is high. But ultimately, you want to choose a woman that chooses you. So time and time again, even me back in the day, I'd go after these women that they didn't have high, interest in me. And you don't really want to get put in that position. What you want to do is go after women that are choosing you. You know what I mean? You don't want to be just going after whoever because all that's going to do, you're just going to get upset with yourself and you're going to think, you're not good enough. But like I said to you guys before, if it's been 6 to 12 months and you haven't spoken to a girl and you're not getting any eyes when you're walking out in the mall or at the bar, you may very well need to focus on your health and your looks and getting into the gym, and being groomed properly. But I just wanted to share this quick message because it's been on my mind. And yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at georgedemo_. Cheers.